Hi, welcome back to Mr. Ant's World of Prince, and we are back. We thought after the great fun we had doing top 10 positive Prince tracks, we'd come back and do another countdown. Well, not really a countdown, but just 10 favourites. We were going to do some more positive tracks, but we thought we'd change it up a bit and go with our top 10 Prince tours. Wow, favourite tours. So once again, I'm joined by Nightchild. Who else? With his always exuberant hello.
I couldn't think of anything.
If anyone's on the podcast, yeah, listens on the podcast, he is here. Yeah,
I'm gonna say, I really need like a catchphrase or something.
All right, yeah, make it so. Yeah, dear. Oh, I don't know. So obviously there is a ton of tours. Prince toured exclusive.
He toured.
What I meant. He toured.
I didn't know this.
Did you know that? Yeah, he toured.
What, live?
Extensively was the word I was looking for. Yeah, live.
Prince.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next thing you'll be claiming he played the guitar or the piano or something. I don't know.
Well, I heard he did a song called Electronic Intercourse. So,
well, of course, Electronic Intercourse.
Straight away we're going off topic. Here we go. Don't get us started. Yeah, unbelievable. I don't know. I suppose, yeah. Anyway, so we thought, yeah, let's do tours. It's obviously, as we said, he toured extensively throughout his career. Trying to nail down 10 favourites was extremely difficult. So don't argue and moan at us if we don't put in your favourite or why, and don't argue what number they come in. It's purely for fun. It's not. We're not ranking them as in top.
To be fair, many of my favourites didn't make the list. So I mean, that just says,
There you go. He was picking them.
You just can't kind of every tour you look at, you think there's something about that tour, and every tour is different. So yeah. And this is just like a selection. We're not saying
this
the
is
tours we didn't include aren't thinking or whatever, but these are just some of our personal highlights. But we really want to hear from yours. I mean, obviously, some people it's tours they've been to, isn't it? And some people it's just tours that they just love the look of, or they love the songs, or so. Yeah, just we want to get a wider thing because apparently there's a rumor going around that he didn't just tour Purple Rain, but I don't know about that rumor. I can't confirm that is true.
That's scandalous. What are you on about?
Sorry.
Everything stopped at 1984. God's sake.
It started and stopped.
It started and stopped. Yes, exactly. I had a 1-year career. Remember, it was very, very.
He did. He did well for 1 year, didn't he? He did. Well.
He weren't bad. Yeah. Unbelievable.
That was.
Oh, amazing. Right, so we'll kick things off and starting then with our first tour. I'll go with this one, and we have chosen One Night Alone.
Are you ready, baby? One night alone with me.
Now this tour is strange because this one grew on me more after I'd actually seen the tour and been there, which is a strange. And the reason being is that at the time it was the first tour that I'd been to where Prince had changed the way he performed, so he was no longer running around the stage. He wasn't doing the splits. He wasn't dancing spins. And there'd been a bit of a gap in the UK about 4 years since I'd seen him last. And suddenly it was just a band and he was just standing there playing the instruments. And there's the odd little dance move, what have you. And it was very more scaled down. The show was more scaled down. So it was a bit of a like, oh, this is different. The music was incredible. Absolutely. But it was one of those ones where it was later on, a few months later when it was released at Christmas the following year, because the show was in October and December the box set came out, One Night Alone Live, and then after listening to that again and again, and then just like really sort of reminded me of what I'd witnessed and how amazing it actually was. You think, God, that tour really was something special. And obviously I was really lucky on the night I went to see Power Fantastic. That is one thing that I'll never forget. It was incredible, and I'm freaking out. I mean, freaking out. And I'm with my wife and she wasn't my wife then, but my wife and my brother. They weren't so sure on that. I didn't know what it was, and they're wondering why I'm going completely bananas. I'm just absolutely losing my shit, I've never heard him play this live, and I never heard him play it live again. It's just incredible, worth it just for that, So obviously I'll always remember that. That was incredible. But it really, real grow of that tour on me, especially as well once I got the DVD. Although that's not a very great concert like the way it was done, that Aladdin DVD. It's a bit cheap, isn't it? And a bit, but it still shows you the kind of essence of the tour, of what was going on. I mean, what are your thoughts on the One Night Alone tour?
I love the idea of you sort of princing out and like boy. Everybody looking, going, what's wrong with Ants? What's he doing? What's going on?
Yeah.
I mean, to see Power Fantastic must have been incredible. I mean, you're right. It's a very different type of tour because even in his even when you look at the Aladdin show, you kind of his suit. It's much more I'm going to phrase this very badly, but it's very much a tour. Obviously, they're all centered on Prince's musicianship, but I'm saying this was particularly so because you think of, the kind of Rainbow Children, you think of that era was, incredible in terms of musicianship. There might be people who love the Rainbow Children or don't love the Rainbow Children thematically, but musicianship wise, it's just incredible. And I think you're right. It's a very different type of tour. The Aladdin tour, as you say, the DVD is also, I think, cut, isn't it? So it's not the whole thing. So I think for you to see him live, and what was I think it's important to know how was during that time Prince kind of thought of, because it was a strange time to be a Prince fan, wasn't it? How were people around you kind of buzzing, excited that he was coming, or was it just a kind of what's he up to? We don't really know.
Yeah, I think it was kind of that, wasn't it? Because this was the era where he'd fallen off the radar a little bit. A lot of stuff was online only, wasn't it? Albums. You had the MPG Music Club, so only people really were going through there and knowing what was going on. At that time, I didn't have the internet at home. We used to have these internet phone boxes. You could actually go to a phone box, a BT phone box here in Great Britain, and put your money in and actually go on the internet. And
you use one of them. Wow. You just put coins in every so often.
Yeah, literally put coins in. Yeah, like a fiver or something, and I'd go on the MPG Music Club and see what was going on.
No.
Find out.
Well, you just like punched in the little.
Yeah, and it had a little screen, and you could look and what have you. Yeah, it was crazy.
This idea of you sort of standing at a phone for like half an hour.
I know. There's people waiting outside. Yeah, what's going on? He's looking at that bloody Prince website again.
Oh my god! I think the people forget, like say, obviously for that was that period where it was before the big relaunch of kind of. I hate relaunch because that's like when they say Prince is back, but he's always there. But
he never left.
But before musicology, obviously it's between that period and before kind of the public sort of fell back in love with him for something, and so I think it's an interesting tour because it's very much based front and center. It is about, there's a lot of jazz, a lot of kind of heavy musicianship, and I think it seems a weird thing to say, and I probably can't find a great way to say it, but there's something musically very different about what he did during that Rainbow Children era, and like I say, as a live show, it's interesting because like you say, it's focused on him being kind of front and center band leader, but it's very different from most other tours. Like you say, he wasn't flying about the stage. It was, I mean, if you think about it, it's quite significantly different to, you go back, I don't know, a couple of years to like the rave show or something like that. It's a very different, completely different.
Different. Yeah.
So I think that must be incredible.
And it was the first, and it was the first time he'd done that as well. Well, we got used to seeing it more later, obviously, as he got older, more that kind of performing. Like Montreux and things like that, he was like that. But at that time, we was like, oh right, what's this? But the music was off the charts, as the jazz and the interpretations of the music from the Rainbow Children were really intense and sped up. Like things like Everlasting Now were so much quicker than what they are on the record. They were unbelievable.
I think that's the thing. He really, I mean, obviously believes it, all the music, but I think he really believed in that particular era. Passionately, and I think that's also, was that the time when you had John Blackwell kind of cased in this kind of like
had this like perspex round him,
and Prince was wearing kind of earpiece, which he didn't often do.
Normally do. No,
so it was a completely different kind of arrangement, wasn't it? It was
absolutely, absolutely. I remember the one of the really cool bits is with the lighting, where they did them incredible strobe lighting bit, and I think it's is that on Family Name or Everlasting Now? It goes down, 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 down. And it's got and it's got that high voice in it on the track, doing the Thomas Jefferson bit,
Yes. I
own
slaves too, and if there's a just God, we're going to pay for this.
Yeah, and the strobe light was incredible. I remember that at the time.
That is incredible. That moment.
The whole auditorium was
like how kind of
it's really powerful.
For me, how powerful that is, because I mean, I'm not American, obviously, but obviously, he's kind of saying, well, look, these are the people, that kind of were part of forming our nation. And they, they did some, pretty horrendous things. And to have that kind of deep, powerful political message. But, and it's interesting because there's so many layers of Rainbow Children. And to be honest, I've seen, it's one of those things you could talk to 10 people and everybody will have a different interpretation of what those things mean. But I love that. I mean, it must be quite interesting. How much of the show when you went, was it mostly, pretty much Rainbow Children?
It was predominantly a bit like what you get on the record. It was pretty much that.
I just imagine other people's faces who haven't seen Prince for a while and suddenly is quite different.
Because you got that. There's you lower your you must surrender your expectations. Yes. He was doing all of that.
Oh, if you're trying to get your Purple Rain on, you're in the wrong house.
There was a lot of there was a lot of that.
I love that.
It was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a powerful stuff. It was a powerful tour. As I say, it was so different.
For me, it's one of those tours that I think it's quite easy to feel emotionally impacted by it. It sounds like one of those tours where it's quite, like say, dealing with a lot of different things, and it's power fantastic. I mean, like you say.
Well, I mean, that was worth it just for that. It was, it was amazing. I mean, also it was a smaller venue as well. It was a theatre. It was Hammersmith Apollo, which is more of a little theatre. I know he'd done a lot of those in America, those kind of venues, but whenever he came to England, he always played arenas. So it was the first time we played a smaller venue like that for a main show, So that was different,
and that gives it a different feel, doesn't it?
Definitely.
I think a very different feel. I think it's a different feel between a day concert and a night concert, and there's a different feel between a big arena and a smaller concert. I'm not like saying one's better than the other, but I think it gives that intimacy. I mean, some venues do that anyway. I think the O2 does that quite well for a big venue, but having a smaller venue is an energy. There's just an energy in that.
Definitely. That's a great way to start. Anyway,
so I was getting all kind of deep then, thinking about the whole era. It's
it was all wrapped up in that, isn't it? That was
it's a very
period.
Different.
So
we
had, as you say, we had the Rainbow Children, One Night Alone, album, the piano album. So that there was a lot of stuff going on.
It's a very reflective bit. And at the time, we didn't know where Prince was going to go from there, did we? So we thought, is this the beginning of like a new Jehovah's Witness period? Like. Many albums, or we don't know. I mean, we never know where Prince where he's going. I mean, that's the thing with Prince. If you think where he's going, he'll go the other way.
He'll go completely the other way.
Put on crooked shoes.
Exactly. Absolutely. Oh, great way to start. Really. Next up, this is kind of a tour, but not, because it was all in one place. And you're going to take these. Go on. Where are we going next?
Oh,
go on.
I can't impress upon people how 21 nights in London, how crazy it was.
It's going down, y'all. 21 nights in London.
Basically, Prince took over London. You couldn't move without people talking about Prince. There were pictures of his Super Bowl performance everywhere. It was at the O2. And for years in Britain, we'd built the O2, as it was the Millennium Dome, and we put stuff in it. We weren't really sure what we were doing with it. We'd spent a lot of money on it, and finally, I think it really found its home. That this was the iconic music venue. It's suited Prince. It's in the round. He had that cymbal stage, which just looked amazing. I love the cymbal stage, and it's just incredible. I used to always remember when the support acts, if they had a support act, would come out, they put matting over it so no one sort of damaged his stage, But it worked so well because the lights were brilliant. I had tickets different times at different levels. So one, I was level with the stage, and it was you see all the speakers, and it was very intimate and kind of powerful and booming. But when you're high up, you also see the amazing light works that go around the stage and the different, and it's incredible. The lighting performance on that is brilliant. But 21 Nights was fantastic because Prince was on a high. Like I said, they had the Super Bowl. He got back into the public consciousness with Musicology 3121, and he was just on fire. And everybody, when he announced it, it was incredible. I mean, first of all, he was saying you're going to pay £31.21, which, at the time was crazy. I mean, people couldn't believe it. And people were saying, what night can I get? How many times can I go? And then you forget, people forget that, he's doing that. He was often doing an after show at the Indigo, just a few hundred meters. I suppose it's in the same complex. Yeah. And it was just incredible. And it was a real people pleaser tour. It was it frustrates me to this day that Christmas they didn't release the DVD as one of my most sought after things. I think to release the DVD, it would have been a huge #1 seller. I have no doubt about that, because the people who went would have bought it, and the people who missed out would have bought it. But also, I love the fact that he basically, as far as possible, anyone who wanted to go could go, in terms of it being 30 quid. Yeah. There were, I mean, I think the O2 is about 22,000, something like that.
Yeah, around about there, something like
so
that.
So 21 nights, so it's like nearly 500,000, sort of people can go, and it's incredible. And it was just, and they had the Twins, the band was on fire, obviously, and it was incredible. For me, there were so many highlights. I think one of my highlights was when he played Shh. Oh, and the guitar solo at the end of that. Yeah. I was waiting for that when I went, and I thought, I hope he plays that, and he did. And the guitar solo, it could have gone on for hours and I'd have been happy. It's incredible. I mean, even in as a middle of the show, and some people were milling about when Maceo Parker was like, I was like, this is Maceo Parker. Maceo.
Give me $1.
It's just incredible. I mean, the performance, the whole atmosphere. I mean, it's sort of built on, I suppose, the Super Bowl performances to an extent, but it's also, he had I mean, a lot of people didn't like it, but I liked the kind of sampler set where he would just go through and he would toy about and play with these songs, and he would play a mix of different things, guitar, various things. I think for me, he just had surprises, because you're doing that many nights, you've got to keep it fresh. And when he would open up and say, he'd open up, first song, Purple Rain. And you're like,
first night, first song, Purple Rain. I mean, what? No one's expecting that. Yeah.
Where are we going now? He's done Purple Rain.
Yes.
What's this night going to be like? We don't know. Yeah. And obviously, he came back out. He would come back out after the show had kind of finished, race back out, do a few more songs, just to a few people who kind of rushed forward. And it was just, I mean, it was just, and to walk into the O2, the whole thing, to see Prince at the Focus, and every newspaper article, every review was brilliant. This is fantastic. This is amazing. The amount of people go, oh God, I forgot what an amazing live performer he was. Yeah, I forgot. He was just incredible. Everything was a buzz about who was going to play at the Indigo with him, who's going to turn up. Obviously, Amy Winehouse had many other people, and it's just like, who's going to show up for that night? Is Prince going to turn up? Because obviously nobody knew every night. Is he going to be there? Is he not going to be there? Is he going to play one song? Is he going to play a set? But I just honestly, it's just he dominated London, and
he did. The excitement was palpable, wasn't it? It was
honestly, I must stop, because I could just go on for hours. What do you about? I mean. You must recall. Do you recall this at all?
Oh well, just vaguely, just vaguely. You're right. I mean, the excitement, as I say, was palpable. It was incredible. Everywhere around London, it was just a feel good. It just felt great. You could see Prince posters everywhere. I remember when you arrived at Canary Wharf Station, not Canary Wharf, North Greenwich. As you're going up the escalator, there's Prince
up the escalator. There was loads of them, wasn't there? The whole
fantastic. Way. It was like a real callback to the days when he was doing big spectaculars, when he was, regarded as a superstar. On that level. The whole show was like that, because just what we were just talking about one night alone, where it was completely the opposite, suddenly it was back to that again. It was like, wow, he's dancing, he's got a huge spectacular production, the lighting was incredible. And as you say, I went to 3 shows, different vantage points, like you say, and one of them I was right in the gods, looking down, but then you could see all the little dots around the edge of the cymbal as they all synchronized.
That's the thing. There wasn't a bad seat really, because if you're level, you're it's amazing. But also, if you're up high, you see the light. So it's kind of like one of those things where wherever you sit, it's great.
Exactly, it was great. Yeah. You had the brilliant introduction with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Bit playing first, bringing up the excitement, him coming out of the stage. It's all the stuff, all the old school stuff. The great things you want to see.
I love him coming out of the stage. That is such an iconic.
So cool, isn't it?
It's just so cool, isn't it? And everybody's so like, every box that goes by.
Yeah, is he in that?
Saying, is he in that box? Is he hiding in that box? And
it was amazing. Just that, as you say, such a great feel-good atmosphere when he was in town. He just used to make you feel better and lift everybody up, and everyone's talking about it. As you said, it was in all the music papers. Everything.
It was electric. It was
absolutely electric. It was amazing. He just took over and made it his house.
Yeah, like when the Stones played in between, and he's like, this is my house now.
This is my house now. Yeah, exactly.
He would sort of he would change lyrics to like, you don't have to watch Big Brother to have an attitude.
Yes, that's right.
And he would also I think it's just it's this building, because obviously 2004 you got Musicology, big tour, back in the thing. 3121 built on that. The Super Bowl was watched by more people than had ever watched a Prince concert.
Yes.
I mean, I consider the Super Bowl a Prince concert that year. There might have been some football.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure. But you know, it built and built, and he was just you know,
tearing it
just
up. You know,
incredible. I mean,
It's
if you'd
iconic.
said that, if you'd have said the 21 Nights, like say, even at the time of One Night Alone, it's almost hard to get your head around how different those two things are.
Absolutely, they're poles apart. You know, it's just incredible. You know, and to do that many nights, and you know, everyone got a copy of the album with your ticket. Great promotional. You know, the Planet Earth album, and you know, it's just fantastic.
I've still got loads of that.
20 copies. Yeah. Yeah, I got a copy that came out with a newspaper, 3 copies from the gigs, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone, you didn't know what to do with them.
And he just got brilliant review after brilliant review after brilliant review. And to be honest, like you say, even the opening, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the build up, by the time he comes out on the stage, you're just
ready to go.
Extraordinary.
Absolutely.
It's to me that they need to release that. I just do you know, you don't need to do a whole you can do. I mean, see, Prince released the 21 Nights book, but he had it on CD, but it was clipped from different
Indigos. The Indigo
sort of
shows
performances, wasn't it? But there's a massive, easy win without getting onto the estate, but a massive win by getting that DVD out there, because that would just absolutely fly.
You can pick. You could have.
I mean, no, it's all filmed.
You could have a couple of discs and have 2 nights, or you could have a compilation one where they use performances from different nights, or whatever. You know, just take.
We saw it all the big screens. It's all filmed, high quality, because the little documentary they did, I mean, you can see the quality it's filmed in. So
yeah, exactly. It's all there. I mean, come on. Well, going back, just one thing before we move on. Going back to the sampler set, I actually enjoyed that as well, because I thought it was fun.
I did,
because people, you know, you didn't know what to expect. He was having a laugh with it as well.
He was having a laugh, because he would play like Nasty Girl or Darling Nikki.
Yeah, exactly. And thinking of all the things you just said, how the musicianship, all those songs that he was playing around that. Okay, most of the I would say 90%, 95% was pure music, wasn't it? Playing the song. That's a tiny little bit. The ticket price was incredible, cheaper than anything around. Still cheaper, you know. If it's just amazing. You got a free CD. Everything was fantastic. This is where you can't please everybody, because I remember going to the toilet. In the toilet, and a couple of blokes walking. They go, "Oh, I didn't pay 30 quid to see Prince karaoke," because they were moaning about the samples. And I'm like, I can't believe you just said that. I'm like,
for me, it allowed him to play songs that he wouldn't necessarily played then, like Nasty Girl and Darling Nikki and very soon. Second of all, it allowed him to do a number of tracks that otherwise you wouldn't hear. But third of all, for me, it's like he's right. You know, I got too many hits. I mean, if you'd have played every song in full length, you'd have been. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, but you would have been there 4 or 5 hours. I mean,
I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm thinking, you've had this amazing show. It's just a tiny little segment of it, and you're complaining, and it was 30 quid. What are you moaning about?
A lot of people love that, because a lot of people would go. A lot of people. Like casual fans would go, and that might be the only time they see Prince, and they want to see him perform some of those songs, even if it's for a little bit, just to see, you know, you know. And I think the way he chopped the set list and kind of moved it around was brilliant. But I preferred that. I think it was a modern update of like on previous tours with LoveSexy and stuff like that. When nobody complained when he sat at LoveSexy and did mixed a few songs together, but when it's like but when he's using technology, they were like suddenly, oh no,
can't do that.
Prince has always been an entrepreneur in terms of an innovator in terms of technology anyway. So I mean,
exactly. You know, if you forget, he was using drum machines, you know, years ago. So
and I think when you hear that live in a concert in the O2, and you hear the drum beat to When Doves Cry or Sign of the Times or something, it just sounds incredible.
It does. Really good. So that did make me laugh. Well, you can't please everyone. There you go.
To be fair, you can't. I mean, well, we'll get onto but there's somebody will find fault with everything.
Everything. Definitely.
There were people who first heard, I think, Purple Rain when it was first performed, and they were probably saying, well, what the hell is this song? We've never heard this before. What's this?
And what's this rubbish? This will never be a hit.
Never hear this again.
Never hear this again. God, dear. Right, moving on then. Wow, this is such a list. I mean, bloody hell, where do you go? Oh, so next up, I'll take the lead with this. We're going back to 1992, and it's the Diamonds and Pearls tour. another one. Very similar in terms of excitement and energy to what we were just discussing, 21 Nights. The Diamonds and Pearls show had a lot of that. Well, for me, it was my first Prince tour, so it was the first show I ever saw. So it was Earl's Court in London.
Earl's Court, great venue. Yeah.
A great venue. Shame it's not there anymore. It's been bulldozed. Real tragedy. But I think again that's probably because of the O2 that made it surplus to requirements, basically. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, this was, I talk about spectacular. I mean, wow. I mean, Prince have been building from 1999 onwards. Each tour got more and more. I suppose you could take Parade out, but each tour pretty much got bigger, more spectacular, more going on. And Diamonds and Pearls just knocks it out of the park into a different universe. I mean, my God. You know, backdrop of stars, symbol lighting rig was huge, moving around. You had the pads, you know, Leroy Bennett pads that you use in some of the times as well. They're moving about. You've got this multiple level stage. You've got flames. You've got pyrotechnics. My God,
you've got the floating bed,
the luminous bed that's floating. You've got a cage that comes down. You've got, oh my God, you know. And if you were lucky like me, you got Carmen Electra as a support actor.
That was the real reason you wanted to go.
That's the real reason I went. Yeah. And I can remember every word she mimed to. Yeah. But the show itself was just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Brilliant shows, high energy, brilliant. The MPG at their peak, you know. Some would say that was the best iteration of the MPG, up for debate. Obviously it was ever evolving band, but it was just incredible. And as you said, first gig to see as well, I was just like mouth being open throughout the whole thing, and I was like, this is incredible. And it was a huge tour. It went to Australia. Was it his first tour that went to Australia? I think it was as well, if I do believe so. You know, coming off the back of his biggest selling album since Purple Rain, so it was a huge time for Prince. You know, he just signed that big contract with Warner's, you know, biggest contract in history, bigger than Michael Jackson, bigger than Madonna. You know, he got this huge tour. It was just amazing, you know. And as I say, we've spoke about it many times. You had that amazing intro going on with the symbol kind of boom, you know, to the screen, and you're walking around the perimeter, and all you can hear is that. And it's
I love the adverts. The adverts, like Diamond has legs. Prince likes to hug.
I know. Yeah.
And what was it? The Carmen Electra is the scariest female on the planet.
Yeah. And it's like it's done in this sort of really sort of woman's voice, but it's quite eerie. And when you're walking around the perimeter, you've never been to a concert before, and you're hearing this thing so loud, and it's resonating through you, it's going through your feet, you know, it's dum, when you're like,
well, there was a lot of with the advert, there was a lot of My Taste stuff, wasn't there? Like kind of mysteriously, we didn't know what was going on with that, and it was kind of like building this vibe. And so you just heard that when you literally just
because literally you walk around this perimeter of Earl's Court and you can just hear it playing. It was playing over and over and over.
Like someone there with a big gong. Just going,
and then you just keep hearing this gong because it's the symbol coming up, you know, dong, and then you can feel it going. Oh, and it's really like, you know,
wow,
otherworldly. You know, you're like, wow, what is this? What is this experience? This is mad. And then you're doing all this while you're getting something to eat, looking at the merch, you know, wondering what Sexy MF means on a t-shirt. Me and my cousin. Hi, John, if you're watching. Me and my cousin. And,
I can just imagine you going, it can't mean that, can it? It can't mean
sexy mother. No, it can't mean. No way. I wish I bought one. I really wish I bought one. I didn't. I bought a Glam Slam, the Glam Slam logo, you know, from the.
Nice,
and the classic Diamonds and Pearls World Tour T-shirt. He's holding the gun microphone, you know, like that.
Oh yes,
love that. I wish I bought a Sexy MF one now, but you know. Anyway, that's another story. Anyway, so I remember buying a little earring. We're going into the toilets, putting a symbol earring in and what have you, and doing all of that. I got great memories, but the tour itself is fantastic. And again, one we've spoken about so many times. It's all there recorded. Just like 21 Nights. My God, get it out there. Well, you never know. Monday coming, there's supposed to be this announcement that. Is it going to finally be Diamonds and Pearls? We don't know. If so, please have this bloody show attached, for God's sake. You know, one of them. You know, what are your memories? What are your thoughts on the Diamonds and Pearls World Tour?
I mean, that's the thing, because we kind of got a tease in the Diamonds and Pearls video collection of the concerts on, you know, DVD, but on VHS. But you're right. It was, for me, it was just, I remember the energy and the color, the yellows, the kind of like the vibrancy of the NPG, and I just remember the kind of thunder just being incredible. I think the whole insatiable Live for Love, the energy of Live for Love, it just went into a stratosphere. And I think there was so much. It was a full show. I mean, somebody said it was like, Caligula on crack. It was just insane. It was just, there was, like I say, 1 minute he'd be on the bed with diamonds and pearls writhing about. The next thing he'd be singing there with Rosie, and Rosie's power. Her vocals just incredible.
Amazing.
And then Levi we go in. You've got Tony M. The whole kind of the don't come to the concert vibe. They kind of
I love it. Yeah, we told you not to come. Yeah.
And it was just mysterious. And Maite was just coming into the mix, and it was kind of he was obviously had his mind on the next album and then the next project, and is working on it. But it was just an incredible full dramatic show. And I think there's so much energy with that NPG. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I really think they were on fire. I just some of those dance routines were I mean, when you see the dance, the energy on that is crazy. I mean, you see that with the Game Boys, and you see that with Prince. Songs like Daddy Pop, when you see him on a studio performance, you see the energy and the way he dances, and they'd be pulling Prince up, and there was humor as well, where Prince would be they'd be wanting Prince to sing. It's like, no, man, you don't want me on the mic, man. And they sort of had to drag him back onto the mic, and it was just it was just incredible, and the color, the vibrancy, I just absolutely adored that. There was so much going on. It was difficult watching it sometimes just to know where to even look, because there was so much energy and so much
there was.
He was just it's one of my favorite. I really hope that does come out, like you say. God,
think of the thunder, that whole bit that suddenly comes out in that capsule as well, starting, it's fantastic.
I still hear it in my mind with the London thunder. It's just even you see like on the video where you see him sort of Dr. Feelgood with Rosie and things like that. There's so much there, and I just it's just powerful. And like I say, he was on that thing where he's trying to prove to the world, I'm worth this 100 million. I'm he was pushing. The album was a huge success. Cream was a hit, Get Off was a hit, Diamonds and Pearls was a hit, Money Don't Matter Tonight. It was just he was getting those 5 million sales, and he was just going to do the show with it. And we thought we were in this kind of this is an incredible new age of Prince kind of coming into the 90s with even more fire.
It was kind of our revolution. It was our time, because that's when we jumped on board a few years before, and this was our time. This was the band for us, and this was our period, to ride with it. And what's interesting is that it's probably the second most lucrative period of his career at that point, obviously after Purple Rain. It's the second most successful period. So why the hell has it not been milked to death like Purple Rain? I mean, for God's sake, this has got the biggest videos he ever had, the biggest tours, the biggest everything.
I mean, when you think about it, it is strange, because if you look at Prince's number ones, it's quite interesting, because most of his number ones, most of them are tied with films, because obviously you've got the Purple Rain Offering, you've got Kiss with sort of Parade Under the Cherry Moon. There's only sort of I suppose you could say when he was a symbol, the most beautiful girl in the world, but it was Cream that kind of like it was that big hit. It was that big that number one, and Get Off was a monster jam. And I think actually at that time he was on adverts on TV. I remember, because they played an advert for some music store, and they said, "Oh, poor Prince." They said he has to sing, and they showed a bit of him singing in like the Diamonds and Pearls video or the Get Off video. They said he has to dance with those boring girls, and he sort of showed Get Off video. They said, "No wonder he's down the pub. Buy the new album." And it's like really weird, and it's just kind of, it's just he was just everywhere. And I think it's just. It was our era. And Michael B, you can't go wrong with Michael B.
Oh wow, I mean, they're unbelievable. What a drummer. What a tour. Great times that. So come on, State, honestly, sort it out. God's sake. We always end up ranting about dance. It's been going on too long. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on from that. Yeah. So great stuff. So moving on, and our next tour, I do believe we're on our 4th one, and you're taking the lead with this one. I do believe. What have we got next?
It was interesting when you said about Diamonds and Pearls, how it's like your time, and for me, my first concert was the Nude tour.
Future and it will be. Sing future and it works.
And so for me, the Nude tour is it's just an incredible experience. It's strange because it was called the Nude tour because it's supposed to be the stripped down tour, but when you look back at it now, you think actually it's quite a big production. Compared to later tours such as Third Eye Girl or Piano and Microphone, it's actually quite elaborate. But for me, that era was all about Graffiti Bridge, Batman, and for me, when you see him perform Question of You, Electric Man, when you see him kind of the kind of reworking of 1999 and that vibrancy, that look he had, the kind of long hair, the very kind of black and white kind of ensembles, and it just had that incredible sort of era of just Prince being kind of just, I don't know, just really in a different place, and I loved that. I was, like I said, first concert, I didn't know what to expect. And like you sort of go in and you really don't know what's going to go on, and suddenly it's overwhelming. There's these incredible lights, Prince's remarkable vocals. You've got Bambi, you've got the squealing guitar, you've got all these things, and everything, like I say, is a lot faster. 1999 and kind of Housequake and all these things, and you get to hear sort of the Batman stuff, which obviously in terms of albums is probably one of the least performed, certainly the least performed of the late the 80s. Live he didn't perform a lot of it again. I mean, he rarely performed any of that. To see them the way he would do that, it was just incredible. And the whole kind of the atmosphere, it was just, that was the moment that converted me. I was there, I was like, really into Prince. I've been, the guy who introduced me to all of Prince's albums took me to the show. And I remember we tied a big thing to our to our aerial,
all right,
in the car, so we could remember where the car was, and it had a big piece of paper saying "Get Nude," and we were just heading in, and it was just the anticipation of going there, and then having these incredible shows. And Prince was just, he was just, standing on the guitar a lot. I was standing on the piano a lot, playing his guitar, and he was just. It was just incredible, and there was a real intimacy with a lot of those performances, and it was interesting because obviously some of the performances were kind of like daylight, some one night, and it just had that kind of, as it turned, it just had that stripped down beauty. And I'd be watching, obviously I was kind of obsessed with Graffiti Bridge at the time because I just got into Prince, and that's sort of a big project, and I think it's a really a very underrated tour considering all he did. And I think guitar wise he was just a lot of people kind of don't always like the drum sort of but I really liked that. I really thought that was just incredible, new way of doing it. I think 1999 things like that, it was just an absolute vibrancy, and it's probably sentimental to an extent, but I suppose that's what tours are.
Absolutely. No, I'd agree. I think you're right. I mean, that because those first sort of few tracks, 3 or 4 tracks, are all like a one dance track mixed together like a DJ, hasn't it? They've got the continuous beat going through, and then they do everything from Sexy Dancer to Housequake, all to the same beat, pretty much, But,
Sexy Dancer,
some of the choreography going on that is great. It's brilliant. And real freedom up and a lot of energy going on there. And those shows, again, they were almost a residency in London. There were so many shows at Wembley Arena for that tour. I think there must have been, was it 20 maybe even or more? I don't know how many there was in the end. It was ridiculous. He kept going away, coming back, and then doing a big stint and going away and coming back. That's amazing.
And it was interesting because that sort of time where the band was changing, because obviously the band changed dramatically from LoveSexy. And it was changing, morphing into a kind of MPG, but it wasn't quite
not
there.
Quite there yet, but almost.
And having male dancers. I mean, he didn't really. I mean, obviously, I suppose in Parade to an extent, obviously, but generally speaking, he didn't sort of, that was it was just it was completely different to what I'd
definitely. And it was, as you say, it was great to hear the Batman stuff as well. So you know, you just don't. I think I've only ever heard of Vicky Waiting maybe once or twice live, like bootlegs, not actually seen it. Scandalous, I have seen. I think he did that a couple of times, but yeah, most of it you don't see. So it's great to, you know.
I think also just if you look at him there in 1990 in the Nude tour, and then you look at him in the Diamonds and Pearls tour, it's hard to believe how close those events are, because he looks like a completely different person.
Yeah, the whole look has changed. Everything. I mean, he's still got the beard, but everything else there.
Yeah,
you know, we've now got the typhoon hair, the yellow color scheme going on with everything. You know, it's just it's such a chameleon. It's just amazing. But it was because
everything had to be part of that, didn't it? You know,
that's
when
right.
It's the music, it's the clothes, the guitar, the band. Everything.
Exactly. And didn't he, when he did the Japanese legs, didn't he had the Japanese writing on it that said,
I love
say that. Nude, or what does it said on
I think there were lots of different things with that.
Different things.
I think just that looks so cool. I really wanted that. If they'd have sold that at the time, man. I love that. And the kind of, because he was some quite interesting things around that kind of 1990 era with there was some Versace, some kind of these green kind of, I don't know what you call them. They're Prince clothes. I don't know what to say. They're kind of, it's just, and he had a very much used a lot of fans. There's a lot of windswept hair and a kind of like, you know, it was just a really interesting time. So I think, it was just, and there was a time where I think it was around the time you had Rock in Rio and just you know, so many things that happened, and it gets overlooked a lot, I think. Possibly because it's between LoveSexy and Diamonds and Pearls, so I suppose maybe there's a bit of that. I don't know, but and also I suppose, you know, it's most, not always, but a lot of tours then were linked very much to a specific album. Was a mixture of hits, Graffiti Bridge, Batman, you know. But just it's iconic for me.
I remember him saying at the time, wasn't it? It was about wanting to do all the hits, you know. He was sort of talking about people paying money to go to, you know, a James Brown show and not hear any of the songs that they knew and what have you. But, you know, so he wanted to give them like more of a hits show for that one and strip it down more. But yeah,
it's difficult because, like you say, I think you said before that, you know, it might be somebody's one time they go to a Prince concert.
Yeah.
And you can't hear everything, but you want to hear something.
Exactly, but what's interesting with that is where we're going next, because he just did completely that and flipped it on its head.
This is so Prince, though, isn't it? It's like, so I'm going to do this, I'm going to say this, and forget everything you said, just do something completely different.
Do something different. So, and this is where we're going next. So, coming up next on our list is the Ultimate Live Tour.
Come on,
Mr. Ants.
Here we go.
It's Mr. Ants' happy place.
Another one. This again is probably my favorite era of all time. We're talking Gold Experience. We're talking 1995. It was the Ultimate Live Tour. Again, it was strictly Europe, wasn't it? It wasn't a huge tour. I don't, if I remember. No, I know. Obviously, we had some dates in the UK at Wembley Arena,
London, Manchester, Glasgow, Sheffield. Birmingham, the Netherlands, one in Belgium, couple in Dublin.
It was a relatively small scale tour, but again, let's put it in context. This is that period where Prince has changed his name. Prince has gone off the radar a bit. He's having his fight with Warner Brothers. He's so the general public aren't paying attention as much to what he's doing. But for the people following him, as we know, it was just this incredible period where everything changed. Like you were just saying, between Nude and Diamonds and Pearls, and this, oh my God, the look of Prince, everything, the clothes, the hair, everything was just, you know, the style of music was, you know, unbelievable. We just had the shop opened in Camden, you know, it's just exciting. We're going around like this secret little band that no one knows about because no one's paying attention. He stripped it down to like 4 of them. You know, they're coming out with incredible music. You got stuff like, you know, when you heard Love Sign, wow, you know, that's amazing. You know, after, you know, Miss Beautiful Girl was #1, which was kind of proving a point, you know, that I can go and do it my own. He gets his first UK #1. So anyway, so we get the tour behind.
I love the fact that he didn't even call it the Gold Experience tour. He called it the Ultimate Live. And then the Gold Experience is sort of like, it's mysterious. The Ultimate Live. What is it? And, you know,
exactly. And I remember this gig again, obviously, it's famous for the stage setup. You know, the endorphin stage. They call it the phallic symbols.
What happened with that? Was that the one that kind of got left and got smaller and smaller?
Yeah, got smaller and smaller because of the money problems. They couldn't transport everywhere, and bits got left at Wembley and things like that. So I think the time it got to some of the gigs, it was just the main bit left. You know, the middle bit. Oh,
where is all that now? Is it in someone's garage or something?
Yeah, but the first time, imagine you take me garage. What is that big penis?
It's the endorphin machine.
Yeah, that's the endorphin machine. It's like, oh my god. Yeah, I mean, Eagle Eye people would have noticed it's in the Undertaker video. That stage, very first sort of iteration of it. It's a smaller scale, but it's the same thing. You see him playing on it there. But anyway. So I remember going, and before the gig start, you had the video thing going up, and it was saying about Gold Experience. Remember that music, and it's a Gold Experience album release date, and then it went rah, 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 and it said never, you know, and everyone would be booing, and woo, you know? It was such a big thing going on at the time. But the first show, I went to 2 of those shows, and the first one I went, it was a sellout, obviously, because I think it was the second night, and as back then, Prince was still a big draw at the box office, so. Non-fans would still go, and I remember I'd seen The Beautiful Experience on Channel 4. Yeah, so I was au fait with some of the music. I knew it, and you know, things like Shush and all that kind of stuff. And you could see, I was looking around, the confusion on the public faces, because there ain't no hits. So a minute ago we were talking about, you know, I'm giving what they want. That's what you want. You know, people don't want to pay $30 and not hear the hits. This time, you know, he did 1, I think. Well, 2. Most Beautiful Girl in the World, which everyone would have known, and 7. But other than that, it was stuff off of Exodus, Gold Experience, Chaos and Disorder, you know, whatever. I
love that idea of you looking around and sort of like they play one song and the casual fans are going,
and
the next song, the next song.
It literally reminded me of Billy and Purple Rain, where he's just going, what's he doing now? You know,
nobody digs your music but yourself.
But yourself, exactly. And all the crowd, you know, you could see it. And I was like, oh my God, you know, and obviously I was just freaking out. I was loving it. And I remember I had this amazing kind of lighting rig above where it really lit up in sync with the drums on Shush.
Oh, yes.
It was amazing. Really, really cool.
That's a song that's really stood the test of time. I think.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
Absolutely. And he had his little travelator that would go in and out of the main womb area, they called it, you know. He'd go sort of come out on that. And
there was a few times where that sort of was a bit technically problematic. I think.
Yes, it didn't quite work as it should. Yes, few issues with that. But those main shows at Wembley were kind of how the tour was supposed to be. So they were really, really good. But what was interesting was I went to the second one. It was half full. All the back was black curtains draped around the back and everything, where they couldn't sell it out. And you think, well, obviously word got around. He ain't playing no songs. He's not playing nothing, you know. So only the diehard fans were going, you know.
I mean, when you look at some of those songs, when you look at some of the stuff performed now, as a kind of, I know we're biased because we, you know, think Prince is right. But you look at some of the tracks, Days of Wild, Now, you know, Let It Go, Pink Cashmere, I Love You and Me, Peach. I mean, you look at some of those tracks and you think, you know, you know, The Jam, Endorphin Machine.
Yeah.
You know, you think Endorphin. I mean, that's a stellar kind of.
Absolutely.
You know,
wow.
Incredible songs.
Music.
Really incredible.
Incredible music.
I think at this time, I just, like I say, it's just so different and so out there. But the public, like I say, they didn't understand at the time.
Prince
the whole slave thing,
but see him doing full-on rapping and stuff like that, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
because it was a relatively stripped down, I suppose, in terms of Prince. Was predominantly him and Maito sort of.
It was, yes. They did
some center.
Yeah, front and center. They did some dance routines and stuff. But he was on the bass, he was on the cymbal guitar, and then I think I can't remember if she did the trapeze bit during Gold on one of them, but I think they did it a couple of times when she was coming down. But I remember they had all the ticker tape bang, and we did the guitar solo all come down as he was doing Gold at the end.
That's a great
it's fantastic. And he was just thanking everyone for letting him be him, you know, be me now, you know, and what have you. It was amazing, you know, great show, great music, an incredible period, you know. And I remember that just going the first show, the next day he was on TV on the Sunday show on BBC Two.
Yes.
And it was live. So he did Billy Jack Bitch, and I could actually see my seat where I was sitting, you know. I was like, oh, there's everyone. You know, you forget this is before the internet. So you didn't see something you went to ever again. So
Nice.
to see it the next day on television and see where you were sitting and see the stage and everything, go, I was there last night. It was hugely exciting, you know. And it's like, oh, good video in it, and it's amazing. Yeah,
I mean, it's quite weird because there's sort of moments where he was dancing with Maite and performing loose, and you know, it's kind of like that high energy, sort of techno kind of. It was completely different for some people than I suppose what they were used to, I guess.
Yeah,
but you know,
yeah. But I think this tour has to be in there because it's such an important part of his history, and it's important. You know, he's sticking his fingers up to the establishment. I'm still, you know what I mean. I'm out there and I'm doing it. You know, and you can't stop me. And you know, it was fantastic. Yeah.
And I say the most beautiful guy in the world, obviously, really proved to him he could do it on his own, and he felt that, and that's quite interesting because I suppose so. That was pretty much. That and Seven were the songs.
And Seven were the only two songs
that people kind of really
people would have known.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
Everything else was like, wow. You know, even some of the stuff I hadn't heard yet because you know, it was like, what's this? But you just went with the flow. You know, it was. Amazing.
I think it's really interesting though what you've said about how that second show, areas roped off, not sold out. Like you say, how people, perhaps general fans, just said, I don't know what this is. I'm not. No, this isn't for me.
It was really weird.
It's like, do they only want the hits? I mean, you can't win because if you only play the hits, you become like a kind of tribute version of yourself.
Yeah.
But Prince went, I suppose, so far the other way. A lot of people couldn't keep up. And
I know. They're like, what?
What's this?
But it was interesting because they had the two sides of like that bit with like Purple Rain. Because 3 years later when he came back, New Power Soul tour, and he did one gig at Wembley Arena, and I went to that, and again they couldn't sell it out. Obviously, it was the bad taste of that tour. People think, well, I ain't going to that because of what happened last time. But the ones you did, when he walked out, it was almost like the end of Purple Rain where it was all quiet and they were just staring, thinking, what's he going to do? That's what it was like. And then he started off with one of the old tracks that I can't remember what it was now. I can't remember. One of the ones from Controversy, I think, was one of the first two tracks. Let's Work, I think. So straight away I was like, oh, he's going to do old stuff. He's doing, or he did a hit.
I love that idea. Like he's walking out and like in Purple Rain, there's that polite clapping going, Prince and the Revolution. Like,
yeah, exactly. And they're all like, well, we remember what you did last time. What are you going to do?
It's brave because that proves
personal shit, man. Yeah,
that proves that Prince he rarely did the easy thing. We all said this before. He could have stayed on that kind of Diamonds and Pearls thing. Said we're going to have a big, videos for every album. I'm going to do the album for 2 years. I'm going to promote the hell out of it. I'm going to push every single. I'm going to do a full production tour. But like I say, who else to go? Other than Prince, you go out on the tour and say I'm going to play songs that the general public don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm already 2 albums down the line from this one that I'm touring. Yeah, exactly. So
but even that freaks me out slightly. I know I say this a lot, but when you look at the Ultimate Live experience and then you think of Emancipation, they seem miles apart, and yet they're not.
It's just over a year
away. Like different.
He changed so
planets.
Much in such short. Yeah, incredible.
Because you think he went through that time, and I think, as a personal opinion, but when I see 95, I feel I can see the toll it was taking on him physically, and kind of he was going through a lot, fighting the industry, doing that, and I think he was, doing a lot. And then you see his shift, to Emancipation, but it's kind of like you could see, he was dealing with a lot of different things at once, and just kind of but the music was just on fire. I mean, Gold Experience, like I say, was. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be up there of anybody's top 10, surely. Surely.
It's got to be. Come on. I mean, wow. Yeah, absolutely. Incredible tour. Definitely worthy of the list. Moving on. Is it me again? Or was it? I think, well, it was going to be, but you could take the lead with this one, I think. But we'll switch it
right.
around. It's only a small little tour, this one. Never.
Yeah, I mean, it's an obscure one.
And it is
Sign of the Times.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, outside of Purple Rain, this is probably the most well-known Prince concert. I mean, I watched this when I used to go down to the video store. God, video store. Everybody under 30 is going to go, what?
Blockbuster video. Yeah, what's a video store?
You'd hire a video and pay for it, and then next week when you want to watch it again, you'd go and get it again and pay for it again. Yeah. I probably spent about, I don't know how much on Silent Time, but I hired it. I went basically when I got into Prince, went to the video store and said, right, what's everything you've got on Prince? And I played that over and over and over and over again, and it was just the most perfect concert. Now it's weird because obviously Sign of the Times as a tour is arguably, some people would say, one of those Prince decisions where he could have taken it on tour to America. He could have taken it, sort of UK and things like that. But he stopped it, and basically the video is his way, they said, of getting out of it, in a sense of getting out of the tour and to perfect it. And obviously some of it's filmed at Paisley, some of it was on tour. And I think that's the thing. It gets that reputation, but the tour, for everything we're seeing, but obviously with the Sign of the Times Deluxe, we got pretty much the end of that, didn't we? Near the end, and like I think that it's just such an incredible tour. It's the energy, the play in the sunshine for me is just a highlight. Housequake, you can't knock it. It's a perfect tour. It's one of the greatest documentary tours, and it's weird because it's one of those tours where Prince, any other artist would have milked that tour to the end of all time. But obviously there was lots of things going on in the Prince world in terms of the revolution, in terms of that change. Black Album, LoveSexy, is a lot of other things going on, but that tour is something that, if you consider how many dates he did do, which weren't that many, and like you say, actually looking at the tour is quite a strange thing, because he did basically Sweden, West Germany as it was then, Switzerland, Austria, Italy, France, the Netherlands, Belgium.
Wow.
And
hardly anything.
In kind of Prince terms, it didn't, America didn't get it, we didn't get it, and it's just it's on fire. I mean, for me, again, I'm going to say this so many times, but for me, I cannot get my head around the fact, when you look at Parade, you see the tour, then you see Sign of the Times, how that's the same human being. I don't understand how that's possible, because they're complete polar opposites in so many ways, and I just can't. Sign of the Times was. It was incredible. I think it's clearly one of the greatest. I mean, most Prince fans consider Sign of the Times either the greatest or very damn close to the greatest album. Yeah, and I think the tour, the energy, his connectivity with Kat, just the party atmosphere. Because I think it would end on, it's going to be a beautiful night. Obviously, on the film, he sort of put the cross after it, but he just switched it around. But I mean, you've got those, and I think also it was one of those things where he stuck to. A lot of it was the album, but he did also do the hits. You see it here, like he would play Girls and Boys. He would play Let's Go Crazy, When Doves Cry, Purple Rain, 1999. Obviously, you don't get that on the movie. Yeah, but it was just incredible, and it was just the energy. I mean, when I saw Housequake, I was floored. I couldn't understand it. It was just he was just dancing on the floor, spinning around.
Yeah, the jump and the splits. Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, it's just incredible. I think it's one of those things where he just you can't. Superlatives will never do it justice. I mean, it's one of those,
It's another thing, isn't it? Where it's got this whole iconic look, the peach and black, the stage setup, which is like the album cover with the neon signs and the buildings.
I mean, is that one of his greatest stage setups as well?
Absolutely, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's so
it's a whole kind of village, isn't it?
It's like another world that's happening in front of you. Very theatrical.
I think you said it's almost like a Blade Runner-esque in a sense. It's sort of like a kind of I don't know what you call it, but it's just it's just
what you mean. And some of the live versions are better than the album. They're so good. If I was your girlfriend, oh my god, I could never take the place your man. Play in the sunshine. Some of them, when you go back to the album, you might see a little bit. Oh god, because they're so high octane and just incredible. I mean,
the guitar kind of noodling on. If you never take the place your man, is just
it's fantastic, isn't it? It's fantastic. And if I could never take your place your man with that coat and everything,
the kind of everyone's your girlfriend. He just that is the version. It's just incredible.
Yeah, it's the best version of that. The best live version, the best version. It's just so damn cool. It's just amazing. You're like, the way he sings that is just
for me. Playing in Sunshine is insane, because you have this kind of dystopian, futuristic Sign of the Times in darkness, and then it explodes into light.
Yes.
Playing the Sunshine, and it's just the energy is just ridiculous. The band was on fire then.
Absolutely.
I mean, you had to be absolutely just on it, did you? I mean, Bonnie Boyer, Sheila E., you just,
Dr. Fink still there.
Atlanta Bliss. And you still had obviously Wally and Greg and Nico, just you name it. It's just I mean,
it's a massive tour. I mean, and then you just say he didn't get to the UK. They were going to play Wembley Stadium, and obviously the weather changed. Apparently, didn't it? They got washed out.
What, in Britain? The weather?
Would you believe that it rained in the summer? You know, amazing.
For those outside the UK, we're currently getting soaked in.
all week long. But and then it was they couldn't get Earl's Court. They were going to try it. Apparently, they couldn't get dates. So they was going to play in the UK, but unfortunately, it didn't happen.
I'd actually hired that myself for a private party. So
that's why it was. There we go. You see,
it was my 12th birthday party, and I thought I wanted to spoil myself through that.
It was just amazing. And then, as you say, and then he makes this concert film, so he doesn't have to tour America with it or anywhere else. As you say, he wants to bookend it, but he loved the show that much. He wanted to do it, and I love that bit on that that other release, the Blu-ray.
Oh, the Turbo one. Do you mean
the Turbo one that you were involved in? There's a little plug. I got your credit on there.
Excellent.
So rubbing shoulders I am with the famous. And on that one, brilliant when they talked to Susan Rogers, and she said, like literally the night before, I want a recording truck, I want to record the show, I want this, that, and the other. And he said, it's got to be good or heads will roll. That's what he said to her.
It's so Prince, isn't it? It's like it's so Prince. I mean, that era, was a little bit after that. He wanted Alphabet Street filmed, and he said, right, it's in the middle of, we can't get anybody. No, get someone. And like, well, we don't know where to go. That's your problem.
That's your problem. Exactly. Just sort it. Yeah, and it's amazing. And the fact that they did it and they got everybody together the next day is incredible. And to film it.
The technical achievement, not just the engineering, but the kind of the technical achievement. People often overlook the technical. I mean, that goes throughout Prince's. I mean, even the Super Bowl. Apparently, as soon as he finished, didn't it? Whole thing died. That was it.
I know. It's fried everything. Yeah. It's amazing. And again, you got the amazing lighting from Leroy Bennett. Incredible.
The lighting, I think, is those pads are just incredible. The atmosphere it has,
it's superb, isn't it?
Just
superb.
And
it's probably some of the best he ever did. I know he did do Diamonds and Pearls as well. I think he was still involved up to around them. But
I think that has, because there was a lot of use of kind of smoke machines in the atmosphere. It gives it that real kind of grainy city vibe. And it was just it was just beautiful. And Prince just was
on another planet. Incredible tour, incredible movie. It's just brilliant. You just can't say enough about The Sign of the Times. It really is good. Really, really, really is good. And if you
there was something Prince said years and years and years later. I think it was I can't remember where it was. It might have been the piano market. I'm not sure, so don't shoot me. But there was a quote which basically said, he's been in this game for a long time. And he that's why he doesn't get bad reviews, because he just practices the band. He drills the band like a military thing. I listened to a rehearsal unofficially, and and there was one bit where Prince wasn't there for a few songs, and Sheila E stepped in, and she drilled him as well, like a military thing. And I think it's interesting how Prince had a band full of leaders, and I think Morris said that, because Morris Hayes, who obviously with the MPG is very much a leader too, and I think you have these amazing musicians, but they are drilled to within an inch of your life. I mean, it's terrifying. Like Third Eye Girl said, when you turn up and suddenly Prince says, right, we're going to learn 300-400 songs, we're going to bang. But you just you become that thing where you just, if you drill people. There was actually very quickly, there's one rehearsal system to, and something goes wrong. I think it's a new tour rehearsal, and something goes wrong. One of the drums doesn't kick, the record of it doesn't work. And he said, you've got to have a plan B, you've got to have a B plan, you've got to think, if that doesn't happen, how am I going to do that? He thought of everything, and he was just he was tireless, and he worked his musicians hard, but then I think he wouldn't accept anything there. Exactly. No, that's really cool. I know that one you're talking about. That's really good when you hear that. What's up with this drum machine? Work out a solution. Great stuff. Great tour. Okay, moving on from that, and oh god, where are we now? Our 7th tour, getting near the end. Amazing, it goes so fast. And this is your baby. This is my baby. It's chosen the well, you could call it the act. Well, it's the Act 2 tour, but it's part of Act 1, Act 2 tour.
Get word to shoot, I'm on do. No, not your body, your mind, your fool.
which again is another big tour. And it's important for a lot of reasons. Firstly, it was the Act 1 part was the first time he toured America for a long time. He'd come back to do, as you said, because he didn't do Sign of the Times, didn't do LoveSexy there, did he? I don't think. Did LoveSexy in America? It might have been. Can't remember. Which one?
I'm sure you asked me this before, and that completely flummoxed me.
Yeah. I know there was a big
the second part of
LoveSexy, didn't it? I think after that
in America. I think he basically he did the Dortmund, the famous Dortmund, West Germany, and then just after that, about a couple of weeks after that, he did America into the US bit. Because remember, he did all that US shows, and then finally it was only Japan where he had made some money.
Yeah, I know, amazing. And then hurry back to do Batman. It's like come on,
that turned out a good payday, Batman.
It did.
I love that because Warner, I think, at the time said, "Well, we don't want to release anything for a little bit," and they said, "Oh, it's Batman, that'll sell." No, you can do that. That's cool.
You can do that. Yeah, love it. So anyway, there'd been a gap. I think Nude Tour didn't do America, did it? Or nor did Diamonds and Pearls. Or there was a gap anyway. But I know it was the first time he'd done America for a while. Like, and he was doing. They were all theatres. I think the Act 1 tour, if I remember right, they were quite small theatres. But the Act 2 tour, when it came over here, was important because it was the first time and only time that he did finally play Wembley Stadium, which obviously had seen the likes of Live Aid and Queen and Michael Jackson and Madonna and Tina Turner and everyone you name it had played Wembley Stadium apart from Prince. He'd always done the arena.
I got a new thing today.
And he never played the stadium. He was supposed to play it, as you say, in Sign of the Times, and didn't, and finally he got to play it July 31st 1993. And again, it was very similar to Diamonds and Pearls. We still had the cymbal rig, but this time it was stationary, it didn't move about. But this time it was a lot more. The Act 1 was following the Love Symbol album story a lot more. But the Act 2 had kind of dropped it, had elements of it, but it was more of the hits mixed in with some of those. But you still had all that kind of Egyptian or whatever it was vibe going on with the set design. There were rocks and stuff everywhere, and kind of that. I can't remember the next to the scripts, these big columns kind of looking, I don't know. Yeah, it was all had that vibe that was going on, and you had Maite doing her belly dancing, and at the start pretending to be Prince coming through the middle where you had the soundboard. She floated across on some kind of like high wire thing and wearing the cap with the chains and everything, singing "My Name Is Prince," drops down on the stage, then rips it all off, and it's Maite in a bikini, And then Prince just casually walks on behind her, Because
for a moment, people thinking,
hang on,
it's like the kind of Sign of the Times bit. Is he wearing a bikini? No.
Yeah, he's wearing a bikini again. It's Dirty Mind. Yeah.
I mean, just to grab the you said about the 31st of July. This is the set list for the 31st of July. My Name Is Prince, Sexy MF, Love to the Nines, The Beautiful Ones, Let's Go Crazy, Kiss, Irresistible Bitch, She's Always in My Hair, Raspberry Beret, Sometimes It Snows in April,
wow,
The Cross, Sign of the Times, Purple Rain, an instrumental interlude of Thunder, When Doves Cry, Nothing Compares to You, God Created Woman, and Diamonds and Pearls. Then Little Red Corvette, Strolling, Scandalous, Girls and Boys, 7. Then 1999, Baby I'm a Star, America. And then a little bit of What's My Name, Come, Endorphin Machine, Peach and Johnny.
So, I remember Johnny. At the end.
About that.
I mean, what a set list! It was
monster,
mind blowing, absolute monster. I mean, what a show that was! And I always remember The Beautiful Ones because that's the first time I'd seen him do it live, and that's my all-time favorite Prince track. And again, I was with my cousin, and we went absolutely bananas. It was like, wow, I'm hearing The Beautiful Ones live. Oh wow!
Do you think it's a very overlooked tour? Because whenever I hear people talk about tours, that rarely gets
talked about. It was so good. Again. Never seen any footage. Apparently there is. I heard recently, just this week, somewhere on Facebook, someone said there is a bootleg out there very far back of some footage, but I've never seen it. I've never seen hardly. There's only 2 photos I've ever seen, which you can find online, which is just of the stage. I've never seen anything live, and I have heard audio bootleg of the show, but God, it must have been recorded. It must be. This is Wembley Stadium. I mean, why wouldn't you put that one out there? I mean, such an epic set list as well. And it's iconic again, the tour, for another reason, because he came back again in September and played the same show at Wembley Arena. And I went to that. And this was when he was changed his name now to the Symbol. It just recently happened. And he was retiring a lot of these songs. So he played Purple Rain for the last time, and he thanked the audience. Everyone had helped him sing it over the years. Said this will be the last time I'll be performing this for a while, and the emotion and the it was charged. It was amazing, incredible version of Purple Rain. I'll never forget that. Yeah, wow.
Because that was only a few months, because he changed obviously 7th of June, and this is 7th of September.
September, yeah. So he came over end of July,
yeah.
And then came back in September. And again, also about that gig in September at Wembley Arena, it was the only time I seen him get on the drums and play the drums. I think there was a change, might have been a change in costume. He come walking back on the stage, and that swagger that he does when he's doing that walk. Yeah. And someone, I don't know, it's like someone had said something, and he pointed at the drum kit and went like that, and then he went and got on it and just did this drum solo and started playing the drums. It's like, wow. I've never seen him do it since. It's the only time I've seen him do it live. Obviously, we've seen him do it, on other tours on TV and on film, but to see him actually do it live was amazing. Again, great tour.
It's a weird time as well, because like I say, I suppose people are getting used to the name change. They probably don't know 100% what that's going to mean.
Yes. Yeah, but he's still relatively, popular still. Then he's still off the back of Diamonds and Pearls.
Because when I first heard it, when I was younger, he said, basically, it sounded like he was retiring. It was weird. It was like he's going to focus on. I think there's other multimedia, alternative media events or whatever. And we're like, what is this? Is he stopping?
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, I know. It was incredible. You think what's going on? But obviously we still had big hits, and Sexy MF, My Name Is Prince were good. In the charts, did well. Good videos that all went with it. We had the 3 Chains of Gold video and everything, all supporting it.
You look at the production on that. I mean, video-wise, Diamonds and Pearls, but also the Symbol album. Incredible.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And you got some great performances of this tour as well. Before it went out on the road. On Arsenio Hall. Where he sets fire to the reviews, gets the kerosene out. So it burns it, and oh dear, brilliant. But just a great tour. It doesn't get a lot of love, doesn't get a lot of mention. No. I would love to see this one released as well. It's a brilliant tour, brilliant times. Yeah,
they're a great band. I mean, you think of
MPG. Yeah,
when you think of I always think of the BBC performance as the BBC performance, and but I just it was interesting because it was quite theatrical. Some of the kind of, like you said, the costumes and the kind of
it was
vibe. It was very.
I remember the stage was a lot smaller and it was jammed, because this time you had the MPG horns for the first time as well. So you had Kathy Jensen and I think Dave. Is it Dave? There were 3 of them, I think.
Jensen, yeah.
Dave Jensen, and they were on the little raised bit behind, and so you had them, and you had the dancers, and the MPG dancers. You had all these rocks tatted around everywhere, and you had the lighting rig. There was they tried to fit it all in, but it was just a lot smaller than Diamonds and Pearls. But there was a lot going on. Yeah, it was incredible. Yeah, amazing.
I think that's one of those things that era, like you say, that deserves a kind of renaissance, because
definitely,
it is overlooked, and
it is overlooked. Definitely.
Maybe, like say, maybe that's the lack of the footage. If a full concert of that came out,
they were all recorded again. They are. So
to me, in a sense, that's one of the interesting things the estate can do, is they can bring out a tour which doesn't get the attention.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, a lot of the focus has all been on, obviously, the tours we have seen. So exactly. Instead of bringing out
another version of something we've seen 10 times,
just bring out something like here, which really shines a light. So yeah, absolutely,
exactly. So another great tour. So let's move on. So we got with 3 to go, and this one is with you. And wow, we have got Parade.
See, this is weird for me, because Parade, I think it's one of the most different Prince tours there's ever been. I mean, it's basically a review in the kind of musical sense. It's got everybody on stage. You've got the dancers. You've got there's Susanna. You've got your Wendy, Lisa. You've got everybody. It's kind of all kicking off. Now, for me, when I think of the Parade tour, I think of the colours. The kind of 80s, the yellows, the soft pinks, the kind of the light. And Prince never looked happier, I think. And it's weird, because obviously in Prince's life, it's probably the opposite. I mean, he was Susanna was kind of coming to an end. The Revolution were coming into an end. He was going into that much darker Sign of the Times Black Album period. And yet, for the world, you wouldn't know it, because he is just laughing and smiling, joking around with the audience, grabbing the flower as he in his mouth. It's just it's just a stripped down version. But those songs, Another Love, A Hole in Your Head. I mean, who would call a song that? Only Prince, you know. And and Automatic. You think of that, but it's so light and so kind of it's classic 80s, but it's very. He looked happy. I mean, even just when the famous version where you see, you know, them wishing him happy birthday. It's just there's a toying. It's a sexual, very sexual in some ways. It's a very kind of humorous in some ways. You know, when how much is that doggy in the window? And it's like that kind of like, you know, it's just that that. It's so happy. For me, it's the happiest tour I've ever seen. He does not stop for a second. You know, he's just smiling the whole time. And you think at the time, his life was kind of probably going through a major transitions and stuff like that. And this sounds weird. I've had this theory, which makes no sense to anybody but me. Because I'm like Billy. It's like, you know, my theory makes no sense to no one but me.
Yeah, but yourself. Yeah,
I'm convinced that the album obviously did incredibly well.
Yeah,
and Kiss was a big hit. But even with Under the Cherry Moon not going obviously how we would like in terms of public reception, I think in a strange way it kind of reassured him that he could do things that perhaps the public wouldn't necessarily always dig in kind of, you know, commercial terms, but they would still love him. They still think he's an amazing artist and they would be interested in that. And enough people, he was like, at that point, I think his status as a superstar was secure. He'd had Purple Rain, but it was clear that he could be allowed to experiment and he could do these things. And I think at that moment, he almost knew that, you know, it was the next thing. It's like, you're famous now, you're the superstar. Now it's a case of what do you want to do with that? And he was obviously thinking about that. And that dramatic change from 86, you think within, you know, you're talking about a year and a half, whatever, between the smiling, happy parade to the kind of Bob George, you know, kind of like, you know, rock hard in a funky place kind of, it's a huge dramatic change. And for me, that tour doesn't look like any other tour because there's lots of things, the black and white, set design, the fact everyone's on stage, and I know there's a lot of friction because, you know, perhaps the revolution, counter revolution, all that kind of people think they're getting pushed out. Why are these people on the stage? Why are these people here? It's like all these different things, and even Prince. I mean, with the greatest will in the world, you think he had dancers who you know, they weren't athletic he-men. They were just, you know, regular guys, but overweight. It's like, you know,
security guards, were they? They were.
I mean, it was very Prince. It was kind of. That humor, and I think it was incredible, and considering how much he was about to change, I think that's a really interesting time in Prince's thing, and it's certainly the transition, like I say, that end of the revolution, and it's I think it's just, I don't think it's a tour really quite like that, you know.
No, I would agree, definitely. As you say, it's so unique, isn't it? With that black and white look, you know, the black and white tiled floor, the stage floor, and everything's black and white.
Even he's just
black
having
and white
fun.
balloons, I think, going over it all.
I think he was in that Under the Cherry Moon vibe, wasn't it? You know, when he comes out and he says, "I don't care what anybody says, I'm the baddest man in the universe."
It's literally like he is Christopher Tracy for that period. It's bizarre, but it's amazing. That version of Head as well. Oh my god, from the birthday one. Oh my god.
I mean, you could say, some people could say, well, maybe it's some kind of like a psychologize it and say it's some kind of front, and he was going, but he just looks so genuinely happy, and yet you think maybe it was just a case of the stage was his happy place.
It could be, but some of that live stuff, is to say, it's amazing what he's out there, what you can see, and you think, come on, another one that's there. We've seen high quality footage, and it's amazing.
Well, even the one that's released is only about 45-50 minutes, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And it's just amazing. Yeah, incredible tour. I mean, obviously, there's it does always make me laugh though about when they go on about him smashing up the cloud guitar at the end.
Because the way they say it sounds like he got it and smashed it.
He's going like, you know, but he doesn't. He just does that with it. You know, so it drops it on the floor. I was like, oh, it's really underwhelming when you saw it. So is that it? Oh, right, okay, fair enough. Yeah. Oh, he smashed them all up, did he? Oh.
I must admit as well, reading the reviews, looking back on the reviews, the newspaper reviews at the time, they were so positive. They were so incredibly, you know, in awe. They were so happy with it. They really celebrated and it really welcomed. They kind of just loved that whole era, and I think that the press loved that kind of, you know, he just got great review after great review after great review, and some of those tracks, like you say, I love seeing. Like he did Mutiny, which Mutiny is I always love to see.
Great track.
And I think it's one of those things where he could jam with that band, and he was so in a weird place because he was very much the front man. It wasn't like loads of people revolved around him, because even the dancers were kept largely in the background. So it was like he was just this one focus behind, and behind him this massive ensemble of everybody.
Yes. I know. And they were the first shows, big tour that he did in the UK as well. That parade tour. I mean, I think he'd done a show in the Dirty Mind tour. I think over here a couple of the last year. But this was the first since then, the first big show, and he did a few.
And they loved him, and I think that he knew. I mean, he always after that point, I think he really loved the UK.
I mean, the UK, I remember them saying that the Wembley Arena was crammed with celebrities at the time, like George Michael and people like that. With Sting and whatever, all the people, big UK stars, all desperate to see Prince. And
that didn't change. I mean, even at the end of Third Eye Girl, you see the balcony of all the VIPs, and he's musician.
Exactly, absolutely, a great tour. We've got 2 to go. Again, it's you up next. I think we got all of these ones. Right, we worked it anyway. Go on, you can leave it anyway. So, our penultimate tour on our little list.
Third Eye Girl.
Wow.
The hit and run. I mean, first of all, one of my favorite eras. It was frenetic. It was frantic. It was mad. I mean, you'd have a situation where Prince would say, Third Eye Girl will go on the radio at 12 o'clock. We're playing a concert tonight. You'd run down to the train station, get on a train to London, turn up, queue up for 6 or 7 hours, get in for £10, watch a kind of 40 hit, show. You get to see Endorphin Machine. You get to see And Forever in My Life. And the energy he brought to Third Eye Girl. And it's weird because it's such a stripped down band, obviously. Ida, amazing, Donna, Hannah, Joshua obviously would come on sometimes, and it was a stripped down band, but it was loud, it was blazing guitars, it was a touch of kind of almost Hendrix fire. It was very guitar heavy, and lots of tracks came back. Chaos and Disorder, I think its reputation really changed. I like it there, Chaos and Disorder. It was just, I was at the front at Shepherd's Bush, and we got there, and I mean, loud is not the word, incredible, but also it's just he was just in this kind of new space where he was talking about it as if it was he's some young kid coming up. He's saying, we've got this new band, and if it works out, hopefully we're going to try, and and kind of like this kind of idea that he was like a new band, and they were just trying to make it. And you never knew from one second to the next. He'd be playing in someone's front room, he'd be playing it, you know what was going to happen. I mean, it was like, from one day to the next, and you play some iconic venues. You think of Ronnie Scott's, and you think of Electric Ballroom, things like that. But it was just the energy, the vibrancy. And I tell you what, for me, I would say that the tour, the songs he played and the ones he packed in, George Clinton was there. Yeah, he was just absolutely relentless. I mean, he just did not, stop. And the set list was, like I say, it's about 40 songs.
Wow. And
I think he just he was in love again with the guitar. It was very much the guitar, and it was strange because when you heard about the band, you thought, how are they going to share this out? Because you've got Donna on guitar, you've got Ida on bass, and Hannah. How are they going to do this? And he was kind of also doing this thing where he was working with a completely female band. Obviously, he'd worked with very many successful female musicians, but here you have a situation where it's him, Third Eye Girl, and just occasionally Joshua. It was so stripped down and so incredible, because when we looked at Nude and say, this is a stripped down version, that's nothing compared to how stripped down this was.
That looks like a big production, doesn't it? Yeah, compared to this. Yeah.
And then we got my favorite effect, the amount of people who did this. It happens on lots of Prince tours. The press go, he's a genius. He's a genius. I'd forgotten he's a genius. He's brilliant. He's fantastic. It's incredible what he's doing. He got blazing top reviews from everybody. And I mean, in the UK, from the lowest kind of tabloid thing to the highest kind of broadsheet posh newspaper. He got across the board phenomenal review after phenomenal review, and it was just, for me, it was just him loving the guitar, and it was just him doing that, and when he played some of those songs like Chaos, sort of like Dreamer, like it just an Endorphin Machine, it just it's just to see him work close up. And to see him with his big guitar, his big look, he's kind of he's really changed his look with his afro. His clothing was very different in that era, and there was a much heavier tinge to it. Donna was kind of all kind of rock goth, and it's just
Again, it was completely different poles apart from everything that he'd done before. Yeah,
absolutely.
And so many. So many tracks got a new lease of life. Like "Let's Go Crazy" reloaded.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, come on. And so, "Something in the Water." I mean, the versions of "Further I Go" of that. I mean,
God, do you know what? That was one of my happiest things that came back.
The best ever.
Something in the Water was when I went there. There was I wanted to see Endorphin Machine, and I really wanted Something in the Water. And when he brought that back, where were you last night? Where were you?
Where were you? Yeah, and everybody said, "Let's be something in the water to drink." It's just brilliant, and then the way they were playing it,
because I love that track. I love that track.
Same here, and those versions were incredible. And "What's My Name" as well. Oh my god, they brought that out as well. There were so many tracks he was reinventing. With
it was interesting because I think that band suited, like I say, "Let's Go Crazy," the reloaded version. It suited.
That version's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. And somebody said they didn't. Somebody said they should have perhaps they could have gone for gold, but they didn't. But certain
possibly.
I heard that mentioned as a really good show. I just think there's certain things that lent itself to the guitar,
to that.
And I think that really worked. And it was just fire.
It was insane. It was insane time. I mean, and we're talking, sometimes there were 2 shows a night. Sometimes it's muted. There could be 3, and then you didn't know where they were going to be. I mean, I was unfortunately I couldn't get to them. Long stories. Tried. It was just a nightmare. Very stressful when you got family and stuff like that, and you just couldn't drop everything. You're at work and what have you. And then at one point it's £70 and it's £10, and then but you didn't find out it was £10 until you actually got in.
Well, that's the thing. You didn't know £10 until you actually got in there.
So it's like, oh man, it's almost like, if only I just risked it and tried. And then I did try one night, and then it was £70. I couldn't get in because it was just too packed. And but still incredible shows. I mean, the reimagining of those songs and that rock Third Eye Girl.
If you look at the set list, you start off with Pretzel Body Logic, which comes over the PA system. You open with "Let's Go Crazy," reloaded, "Funk and Roll," "She's Always in My Hair," "I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man," Guitar, which works obviously incredibly well with that, Plectrum Electrum, which is their key, "Fix Your Life Up," Mars, which is just the rocker, "Colonized Mind," "Chaos and Disorder." Then you did a piano set. You got "How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore," "The Beautiful Ones," "Diamonds and Pearls," "Purple Rain," "Do Me Baby," "Adore." Then "Forever My Life" instrumental. Then you have "One Dove's Cry," "Sign of the Times," "Nasty Girl," "Housequake," "Love Bizarre," "I Would Die For You," "Hot Thing," 7779311, "Most Beautiful Girl in the World," "Mr. Goodnight," "Breakfast Can Wait," "Play That Funky Music," "Something in the Water Does Not Compute," "Cause and Effect," "Endorphin Machine," "Dreamer," "Screwdriver," "I Like It There," "Bambi," Pretzel Body Logic remix. I mean, that's a night.
I think I need a lie down after that.
I did. I tell you.
Wow. Wow. Just incredible. And there was some great live stuff that was put up at the time as well on YouTube as well, officially as well.
Yes.
Showing the Chaos and Disorder as well.
Yes.
Because he was changing the lyrics at the time. There was a lot of flooding going on in the UK, and he was changing like some of all this water everywhere. He was going.
Yes. He was going down $10. That's what I used to pay for a concert.
Yeah, concerts used to cost $10. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Fantastic. Amazing tour again.
And also, that's another thing where we see the clips of that, and the clips are in crystal, because I mean they're filmed, but not only they're filmed right up in Prince's face. I mean, the cameraman was like just free reign, and the quality of those clips is HD, full proper quality. So
everything is.
I don't know why
Even going back to Ultimate Live Tour, and there's a bootleg of one of the London shows, and on the bootleg, the person, you can see the professional cameraman at the bottom of Prince's feet, you know, filming him. You know, it's all
yes,
you know,
especially when he comes out to the front of the stage with Maite, and they just
that's right.
Yeah,
and you can see the guy filming it. You think, you know, it's all done. It's all there.
It's got to be there in the vault. So
come on, it is. They've got it all. Just, they don't want to release it. Anyway,
I think to be fair, I should let you grab this one.
All right, then I'll start with it. We come to our last one. Wow, and it is very iconic, a very iconic tour. It's been described as Liberace on acid. It's the LoveSexy tour. Oh wow! I mean, my first experience of this tour was the Dortmund. I remember it being on television before I was a Prince fan. I remember my brother watching it, and I wasn't interested in Prince, and it was like, "What's this?" You know, can you believe that? This and literally a year later, before I took the bait. At the time, I was into Michael Jackson heavily, and I didn't pay no attention. But I remember it being on. It was, and and obviously 2 years later, I've got the VHS. You know, and it was weird because the VHS was sold in two parts. You had to buy part 1 and part 2.
Yes, but part 2. Part one was the part 1 was the end, and part 2 was the beginning.
Yeah, which was bizarre. I was like, what's that all about? Yeah. Anyway, got them, and that's probably the VHS I wore out the most. Prince stuff.
Did. I wore it out so much. The piano medley I actually ended up with static, and I had to get another one.
I mean, this tour is amazing. I think this probably, because I've seen other ones and heard other ones, but this one I think is probably the best show of the whole tour, because he knows it's being filmed. It's just incredible. It's just off the scale. His performance. I mean, it's just on another planet. I mean, you watch this thing, you think, what the hell is going on here? You know, you got the fourth Thunderbird bringing him onto the stage. You know, you've got the look, the long coats and the trouser with Prince and LoveSexy written down the sides of it. You know, they're all wearing the same stuff. You've got Sheila E wearing hardly anything. It's like cut all on one side. Iconic dance routines of her, you know, Sheila E and Cat, and oh my god, it just, you know,
I think the whole thing worked. The in the round performance that always worked. Yeah. I think the first half being very dark and the sexual songs, and the second half you have Anastasia and this moment of epiphany, and then the light comes.
And it's following on from that kind of like Black Album that had been cancelled, and then seeing the light and doing the LoveSexy. It's almost as if he's going through that with the performance. He's doing the dark bit. You've got tracks from the Black Album that are performed. Bob George, one of them, which is brilliant.
Super Funkadelic and
exactly, And then you go through Anastasia, and then you get into the LoveSexy part, which is all light and high octane, incredible.
That's the thing.
You got a basketball court on you got a swing. I mean, what the hell is happening? You know, it's just, you know, unbelievable stuff. And that version, that Dortmund one, the cross, my god, watch that. Watch the Purple Rain bit, and the bit where he holds the guitar note at the end, and he's like, in his face, as he holds it, and he's like, the emotion on his face is wow, as he's about to end the track. Oh my god,
there's so many amazing bits. You know, when he's doing Let's Go Crazy, and he just throws
and he's going and he's like, you could just see this, like,
I only have to hear the beginning bit of LoveSexy, where it's like the kind of the remix, and the kind of like the female moan and the kind of love sex. He's going love sex.
Yeah, I know.
And it's just and after Ingrid has done the kind of poem, you know, coming over the speakers and that last section is insane, but also the piano medley is insane as well.
The piano medley is brilliant. I mean, that's where he looks like Liberace there, I think, isn't he? He comes on what he's dressed, and you know, and he's got his cane, and he's messing around, you know, like that off the stool, and you know, pulling faces, and you know, playing it one-handed, and sitting down and sitting back up, and you know, messing around. You know, brilliant.
When Turan Love sounds incredible, I think
that bass comes in, boom. It's like,
as an opening to a Prince show, so Erotic City, kind of going into that kind of
it's amazing.
Anastasia for me is incredible, because he was, you know, just pleading his heart out, and it's just but for me also, even the hits get a new lease of life. That closing bit, I think that's probably my favorite version of When Doves Cry. Just incredible.
Just
incredible.
It is, isn't it? there's just so much energy going on. You can feel it, you know, and then at the end of it, you know, it's like, wow, you know. And then you get Purple Rain off.
The Purple Rain, I think, is one of the best
you can barely draw a
versions too.
breath. You're just like, oh my god, yeah.
And then at the end, that kind of the fun of Alphabet Street, where you're just all playing about and enjoying it, and he goes up to Sheila and kind of
makes her laugh, pulls faces in it, try and put her off, you know.
I just
it's such a great, and it's a brilliant album, a brilliant period, and it's one of his greatest tours. As you said, didn't make him any money really, did he? It was so expensive. You said he didn't make money until the Japanese.
No, it's just the Japanese tour where he actually, which is mad when you look at it, because I mean, it's a huge thing. I think they said the transportation of the stage and various other things sort of ate away the profit. I think it's not how much you bring in. I suppose it's how much you actually keep.
Quite a complex thing to set up.
Well, the thing is, it's also it terrified me because you got all the band members on here. The stages are going up and down. The levels are moving. If you get that wrong, you're going to fall.
Exactly.
It's quite a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, he had all these kind of, like, say, things, and I think he's always pushed that limit, because he wanted water sometimes, didn't he? And they said
plasma balls, water, all this stuff. No, that's not going to work on stage.
I think that was brilliant, and there was the humor of the kind of when he was tied to a chair with super Superfunkicalifragisexy, when he when the great line when it's like Bonnie Boyer with Cat sort of saying a brand new BMW.
Oh yeah,
stop!
Stop! It's brilliant, you know. And then he does the basketball and he puts it in first time. You know, what if he hadn't?
I know, no pressure. Only about 60,000 people watching.
Yeah, exactly. You know, brilliant. Oh, what a great tour.
It's just incredible. I just I watched that so many times, and every move, everything became.
The dancing was brilliant on that as well. Some of the best he'd done, and he does that bit in the spotlight. I think at the end of Glam Slam, and he's sort
of doing the drink in the kind of
making the drink and all that, and almost a little bit Michael Jackson-esque, some of the stuff he's
with
doing.
the I Know, you kind of see the shots from above, and
above,
stage moving, and it's just
and he's doing that head shaking with his hair to the music,
and the kind of No War banner, and I think also the 1999 when he sort of does the. Babe, why does everybody have a bomb? And it's just that kind of, he pushes his voice to that kind of high.
Absolutely, you see the straining in his, the veins popping out of his forehead. You know, especially during the cross. When you watch the cross, when he does the bit at the end, and you can see it there. You know, it's brilliant.
That is incredible.
Solo, the faces he pulls as he's playing that guitar solo. He's going, he's
like, you know what I love as well? You'd never see that probably nowadays, where there's a woman just.
Holding an acoustic
on the guitar, just playing along in the crowd.
Like she's so.
Imagine nowadays, I just want to bring my guitar in. Is that right?
Just bringing my cello in. This is my orchestra, which is which is quite instruments. It's just amazing. You think, why did she bring a guitar? She's not going to play along. She's trying to play along.
The Anastasia as well. It's just when he's calling out to the crowd, that kind of religious epiphany. He's getting them to chant back to it. God is love, and I actually also really like the "I Wish You Heaven" bit.
Yes, I love that.
I love that. I just think that's the call and response.
Because you've got the extended 12-inch bit they go into.
Yeah. A bit at the end where he sort of says yes, and they go
exactly. Yes. I love Say Hello to the Blue Angel.
I mean, how good is that? Also, we've got to talk about Bob George when he does the Bob George, and the cops come and they're trying to, and they got the guitars to arrest him and shoot him.
I know, that's brilliant.
And he's on the phone. He's like,
why can't we party? Why can't we just dance? It's just brilliant.
And he's wearing those crazy Dave Edna glasses. Got him.
I mean, what's that all about? I love it.
It's just fantastic, isn't it?
If I Had a Harem, that's fantastic on that.
Do you know that guitar bit where he does that?
I love that, dude.
That is incredible, because you think you've got 60,000 or however many you're sitting there, and he's just playing this incredibly expressive, beautiful kind of and it's just
does on that. It's brilliant, isn't it? And all that and running like making him run. There's so much fun and humour in that tour. It's brilliant. He's got. I mean, he's God knows what he's wearing. He's got these straps and he's pulling them. And he's going and pulling the straps and the
that's interesting as well, because you hear songs like "Sister," which
all of that stuff, all the
staple songs. They're not songs exactly to hear.
It's like he was really going there to say, this is the two sides. You kind
of go. I'm going to go first. Sister, Head.
Bob George, Superfunkicalifragisticexpialidocious, all that stuff.
Really dark.
Really dark, and then the Transform. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
What a great show. What a great show.
Oh God.
I mean, God, another one. Please release it properly. Blu-ray. You know, come on. Oh,
It's not been a bad tour. You know, they said
Not
too
been
many hits. It's got too many tours.
too many
It's just-
tours. We'd be here all night. I mean, an hour and
Oh.
40 minutes, and we've done 10. I mean, we could go on and on and on. I mean, that's a great list.
We-
I mean, we have got some honourable mentions.
We've
We'll
got
do in a
3
second.
honourable mentions, haven't we?
Let's do them first. Yeah, there are 3 honourable mentions. Go on then, and that could have made this list, and probably some of you are screaming and saying, "Why didn't they?" But
Okay. First
it's
one,
our choice, so no.
first one, I'm not sure how you pronounce this. I've not heard this one before.
Is it
Purple something? Purple?
Mauve? I thought it was mauve. No.
I don't know.
Indigo Rain? No.
Indigo. Purple Rain. I think it's
Oh,
Purple Rain. Yeah, I think so.
Purple Rain, what's that?
I think Purple Rain. There was a couple of tours,
Yeah.
so a couple of concerts. You know, I don't know if anybody went. Very low key, just
I think it was
everybody in the world.
I think there was a show in New York somewhere.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
Purple Rain is obviously a monster. It became this
Yeah.
juggernaut.
I think we just said we did. I think the reason for we didn't include it is because obvious reasons. It's so well documented, isn't it? Because we've had it released so many times. There's not a lot more you can say about it, really. You know, 18 minutes, Purple Rain, great guitar solo.
Oh.
You know, it's
I've got to change my guitars several times because
yeah, exactly. I mean, the tour that launched him at the Superstardom with the film and everything else. You know, it is important, but we just felt it was, you know, it's nice to have a heart show. Shed some light on some of those lesser tours that you don't hear about so much.
The Dull and Nicky performance there.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. Even the way he was kind of like toying with, even though it's a big concert, he's still sort of toying with the audience.
Yes, there's lots.
Does your man have an ass like mine?
There is a lot of it in that show. It's very theatrical, isn't it? There's a lot
and who else but Prince would go, I've got tens of thousands of people watching.
Yeah.
I'll do this interlude where I talk to God.
Yeah.
About
and it's going live around the world, and I'll do this, you know. I want everybody snap your fingers like this.
Oh, it's just incredible.
Do you know what that is? Yeah. Oh my God. You go, Mum, turn it off. Don't watch that.
Yes.
Oh dear.
It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Just
when it was shown recently on BBC TV, they edited a load of that out. I thought, oh, you cheap. Yeah, bloody,
really?
Yeah. About 45 minutes of the concert was edited out. It was shown off of the Blu-ray release, that recent Blu-ray, because you could see from the sound and the pitch quality, it was identical. But they cut all those bits out. So I think there's a big gap. I can't remember where it ends. I think after Computer Blue, there's a big gap of all that stuff.
Oh, I've got to say again, Computer Blue.
That's
probably the best. I love the bit where he does the kind of, you know, goes do.
Yeah,
it's just incredible, and he looks so cool with the kind of it's just I love that look, and it's like poor lonely computer.
I know,
and it's like
brilliant,
and it's interesting because at the time we sort of, you know, obviously we all know about the hallway speech and various things now.
Yes,
like,
we didn't know that then.
And it's just
I thought that was just for the live show. I had no idea.
Just,
it's a little bit like LoveSexy, but he's playing the long version of I Wish You Heaven. You know.
Yeah, it's just incredible, and even with the Take Me With You, and he toys about, and it's like take me with you, and he sort of, you know,
it's brilliant.
It's just it's just incredible. But great. That was our first one.
That was our first one. Our second one was musicology. Again, this was the kind of template for the 21 Nights in London. Very, very similar. In the round, give the album away with a ticket, play all the hits. But what was important about this was that it was we hate to say comeback because we know Prince didn't make comebacks. He was always here, but
we know that. We know that. But the press don't know that.
The press don't know. As far as the press are concerned,
As far as we said, the press said that Prince had about 50 comebacks. It's like one every year.
Yeah, exactly. This was a big commercial comeback for Prince. It's the first time he played arena shows in America for a long time. And you know, it was a big deal. It was the anniversary of Purple Rain, 20th anniversary that year, 2004. So that was being celebrated as well. So it was a big deal, and obviously the opening night was beamed to cinema. Yes, and
it was a change because it was like he very much talked about it being a family show in a sense.
It was bring the kids, bring your family, and
it was real music by real musicians,
exactly, which is what it was all about.
Very vibe, and he obviously annoyed all the record company or the chart companies by giving away the album.
That can't be counted now. They were moaning, wouldn't they? Yeah. It was like,
and he started, like I say, the full videos that you see, you know, musicology, things like that. So I just there's
some iconic performances that opening night. I mean, the Falling the one.
Oh, the question of
Question
you
of You,
fallen
that
and the
scream,
one.
that scream where he's shuddering on his knees.
That is
It's
incredible.
like wow.
I love.
And then he goes,
I mean, I love Question of You, but
So do I.
that medley works so well with
It
Falling
does, doesn't it?
and the one, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant tour, musicology. As I say, we didn't get to see it over here, but we did get the 21 Nights, which is virtually identical in format, just different stage and what have you. But yeah, it's a great tour, musicology. Again, it's out there. That cinema is out there unofficially. That
I just try and be fair because you could put all these things on the website. I mean, I won't. Yeah. But it's just it's just. And so many people saw it because it was such a big. It was selling out arenas across America. Huge success. He was getting, nominated. I think quite a number of awards for the album. He was pushing the live tours. It was very much.
Did he have the time perform as well on some of those on the with them?
I think he did, didn't he? Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's incredible. You can't knock it as a tour, and it's just
exactly. And then our final honourable mention, and we thought it'd be a nice way to finish, obviously, as the piano and a microphone. Obviously, it's bittersweet to say the least. We didn't get to see it here. We were going to see it here. It got cancelled for various reasons. Obviously, some people did see it. Obviously, so it was really well regarded, reviewed, wasn't it? I mean, Prince himself, I think, he thought his last performance. He said that was it when he'd hit the heights. Apparently, it was like there was something said about it, wasn't it? That he thought it was the best performance he'd ever done. Yeah, I mean, it was just him alone with a piano. I mean, talk about stripped down.
Well, that's the thing we said about stripped down. We said the new tour stripped down. Go no. Yeah. You see Third Eye Girl stripped down. No. Piano and a microphone. Just
this is stripped down. And we'd seen snippets of that in shows before with him just on the piano, where he'd done that. So it was kind of like a showing where it would go one day. It's such a shame it didn't get the full tour and he didn't get to do it. I mean, just go on. What were you going to say? Go on.
I was going to say it's bizarre that I even had people who said to me at the time they genuinely go, I didn't know he played piano. Is he good? I don't understand. And there were still people at that time, all that way into his career, who didn't.
Yeah. You go, but if you'd been to a Prince show, you would have seen him play the piano. He did in virtually every show. He got on the piano at some point, or a keyboard or something, and did and played. So it's ridiculous.
And his voice was great. I mean, his voice, he was just incredible. And I think that intimacy.
Yeah. I think he was challenging himself again, wasn't he?
You can hold the whole crowd in the palm of your hand just with
Yeah, it was something new he'd never done before. He wanted to challenge himself, I think, and yeah, I mean,
it's also one of the most open shows because, like I say, he talked about his father. He talked about vanity passing. There was so much emotional openness, and he talked about the songs he learned as a kid, and he's sort of reflecting on his. Well, he's obviously it was autobiography he was working on as well. So it's like
there was something going on around that time, don't we? We'll never know what it's debate. We don't know. Obviously, it's so close to his passing, but there was something had changed, and for him to be that way, as you say, it's almost as if he knew time was up and he was trying to share and get it.
He was very reflective, wasn't it, about his journey?
Very reflective, yeah.
And losing vanity, I think, and
really
Denise Matthews, really. Denise was,
as I say, some of the stuff. I mean, there's an incredible version out there of who does. Is it Little Red Corvette? And what is it mixing? Is it a bit of? Is it Head a little bit? No, Dirty Mind. I think it's Dirty Mind. It's Little Red Corvette and Dirty Mind mixed together or something. It's just amazing. So good. I mean,
and the thing is, he could go anywhere with that, couldn't he?
Yeah,
because there were certain songs. One of like he played "Girl," which is kind of unusual. "Elephants and Flowers" again, which is a track he didn't play very often.
No, definitely not.
I think that kind of suited. I mean, you even look at his very last performance. He played "Indifference," played "Dark." "Black Muse." "Sometimes It Snows in April." "The Max." There's a lot of incredible, and we've said. I mean, say this again, but it should have been the first thing out. It should have been released straight away.
Yes,
there's no question about it. It should have been out there. It was filmed. We all know it's filmed. And it should have been.
The gala was
important to have. I don't know any other artist of his caliber who sadly passed, and they didn't immediately get his last show out there.
Especially as the last show was still being fresh in the mind of people. Everyone had known that that's what he was doing at the time of his passing. He'd been on this tour. So a couple of months later, they could have put that out.
Yeah.
Instead, they do put something out, and it's Piano and a Microphone 83, which would have confused a lot of people.
I mean,
what
it was
the hell?
just, it was one of those weird things like
Yeah.
we were poised, we were about to buy tickets in the UK, and then there was there was a problem with ticket touts. Some of the tickets were going for $5,000 each, and it was just people were scalping and being horrendous. Plus, we had then there's terrorist issues.
In France, it
was just
all of that kind of shot, paid to the UK shows. He pulled it, didn't he? The morning they were going on sale, he pulled the plug on it.
Yeah.
And was like, oh god,
because they were desperately trying to find a way to kind of stop people, these companies buying and selling. Even to the end, he was still very much fighting for artist rights and something that's because I mean it's not right. We know that that the artist gets less than some guy who just speculates on it. And but it's just such a beautiful, and it should have. It's been 7 years. Where is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Where is it?
Exactly, and it should have been done with a lovely package with the gala show. Yeah, one of the proper main shows. Because he toured it. He went to Australia, played it there. His last trip to Australia, and you could have an audio CD as well because it's bootlegged. It's bootlegged out there. Everyone's got the gala in the bootleg of that, and
it's just we said the amount of that's the one thing that comes across at all this, all these tours we talked about. How few of them have full official
releases.
Records. When you look at Act 2, you look at Piano and a Microphone, you look at Third Eye Girl, you look at so many other ones. I mean,
Girls Ultimate Live Tour, Newcastle.
There's so many tours where there's no official.
Where was the last official one? LoveSexy.
Last official one was.
It would have been
Alone.
One Night Alone, probably Aladdin, was it?
I mean, Musicology had a thing, but it wasn't actually released as a.
No. I mean, we're talking, and what I'm talking about is in Prince's lifetime, because obviously they've done. They've done Welcome to America, haven't they? Since obviously,
yes, they have since.
So there is a Welcome to America show out there.
That's true.
And again, they picked one of the not so good nights. There's never a bad show, but it's like if you want to highlight a show or show the best of it, there were more iconic performances, so we say, of that tour. But
there needs to be more live stuff. It's the one area. Well, there's lots of areas. This is the one area we need, because to me, when people see Prince, that's when you're really gonna fall in love with it.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
exactly. And every night on here in the UK, like on Fridays and Saturdays, you get on BBC Two or BBC Four, they go into the music archives, stuff from the past or stuff, and nothing of Prince. There's never anything of Prince hardly. Last night they were showing Neil Diamond and Robert Plant, and a lot of them of those from that venue where Prince did that thing in '93. And think. It was recorded, they obviously don't hold the rights to it, so they can't show it. You know what Prince was like? No one's allowed to have, But
that was a shame. The most frenetic, rampant concert ever.
I know. If they had that, they could show it in this series, because they show all these people, live from these, the venues and what have you. Such a shame. And every year, obviously, Glastonbury comes up, and you just go, oh, if only that had happened. Just imagine the impact.
We need more Prince-like stuff out there. We need a massive. We do. I want so many DVDs that it's getting to Christmas that I'll be like, oh my god,
I need a new shelf.
That's what I need.
Well, there you go. That's our list. Please comment and like, subscribe, share, hit the notification, all of that stuff, and let us know what you think.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out anything that you agree with. I think is excellent. That's my idea. Anything that any tour we've missed out that's bad, that's obviously missed out.
That's my idea. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Please do just comment and let us know what your favourite tours are and whatever. That'd be really great.
I'd love to hear experiences of what people have been to and seen.
Yeah. What was your first tour?
Because there are people we know who've seen. They saw Dirty Mind, or they saw the Triple Threat tour, or I'd love to hear from some people.
I'd love to hear some of that. Absolutely, absolutely. We'll be back with another one of these, because we've got quite a few ideas for these. It's quite good fun. And I do believe we've got that Apollonia album review coming up.
Yes, we have very soon.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
This is our therapy. You see, this is
yeah, exactly. This is what we have to do. Yeah, to get through these things.
Yeah.
Everybody, thanks for watching. Keep it purple. We will see you all soon.
Take care.
What?